If you've ever wondered where the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean peoples, those with distinct, almond-shaped eyes, came from, today we'll uncover their true origins according to the Bible. Who was the ancestral father of these nations? Who, in the scriptures, gave rise to the Asian peoples, the Japanese, Chinese, Mongolians, and Koreans? Stay with me, and you'll find out. If you enjoy our series, don't forget to like and share this video. It helps our channel a lot. And if you'd like to support even more, leave a comment with your thoughts about the origin of Asian peoples. Tell us what you think about their biblical ancestry, based on Genesis chapter 10. Without further delay, let's continue our series, The Origin of Peoples According to the Bible. The Asian peoples have always fascinated others, whether through their art, culture, or martial traditions. Yet, the question of their true origin remains. According to the Holy Scriptures, there are clear indications about where the Asian peoples came from, revealing their ancestor and the source of what we might call the Asian factor. Before we can understand the ancestry of Asian nations, we must first look at the origin of the name Asia. The word traces back to Greek mythology, where Asia was said to be the wife of Iapetus. Interestingly, the name Iapetus bears a striking resemblance to Japheth, the son of Noah. Throughout mythologies, fragments and echoes of genuine biblical history have survived the passage of time. Thus, in these ancient tales handed down through generations, we find traces of truth preserved within tradition. The names of Noah's wives and his 3 sons may have been preserved through history. From this perspective, it's possible to suggest that Japheth's wife may have been called something similar to Asia. In other words, Asia could be the name linked to the origin of the Asian peoples. Linguistically, she may be referred to as a Japheth, meaning Japheth's wife. Thus, the so-called Asian factor originates from Japheth's wife. Japheth himself was the forefather of the European peoples. We already have a video exploring the origin of the Europeans, the white nations of ancient Europe, and you can find the link to that playlist in the description below. Now that we know who the ancestral mother of the Asians was, we must identify their father. The ancestral father of the Asians was one of Japheth's sons or grandsons who inherited the Asian traits from Japheth's wife. Gomer, Japheth's son, likely married one of his sisters in order to help repopulate the earth. Gomer's wife, in turn, would have inherited the Asian factor from her grandmother, Japheth's wife. Gomer had 3 sons. Ashkenaz, considered the forefather of the peoples of Scandinavia and parts of Europe. Ripheth, believed to be the ancestor of the Celtic and Iberian peoples. And finally, Togarmah, the one identified as the ancestor of the Asian peoples. Togarmah, the 3rd son of Gomer and grandson of Noah, is described as the forefather of all Asians, the one from whom the distinct Asian features, such as almond-shaped eyes, originated. A curious confirmation of this is found in the meaning of his name. In ancient Assyrian, Togarmah means domineering. In Hebrew, it means broken, and in its extended interpretation, it can also mean drawn or pulled. This etymology subtly alludes to the pulled or drawn eyes typical of Asian peoples. Therefore, Togarmah is recognized as the father of the Asian nations. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 verse 6, it becomes even clearer that Togarmah is the father of many nations in the distant north. The house of Togarmah from the far north with all its troops, many peoples with you. The peoples mentioned by Ezekiel in this passage are the descendants of Togarmah. These nations and tribes include the Chinese, Mongols, Japanese, Koreans, and Turks, all possessing Asian features and the distinctive drawn eyes. Modern genetics confirms that Asians and Europeans share a common ancestry despite the great geographical distance between them. Even the light complexion of many Asian peoples already suggests this connection. However, there exists one Asian group whose DNA scientifically proves a direct genetic link with European peoples. Yes, such a group truly exists. When we examine genetics, we uncover remarkable insights into the shared heritage among nations. So, which Asian people are most closely related to Europeans? Which nation carries a trace of European DNA? That people are known as the Xiongnu. The Xiongnu were a Chinese tribe who, according to ancient Chinese records, inhabited the steppes of Central Asia around the 7th to 8th centuries BC. Genetic studies of the Shem's mitochondrial DNA show that they possessed approximately 88% Asian ancestry and 12% European ancestry. The Shem therefore represent an authentic genetic bridge between the European and Asian peoples, proving that the two lineages are indeed related, even across vast distances. This connection traces back to Japheth, his wife, and their descendants, particularly Gomer's son Togarmah, alongside his brothers Japheth and Ashkenaz. Thus, the Asian genetic heritage was passed down from Japheth's wife to her grandson Togarmah, who became the forefather of the many nations of Asia. This fulfills the prophetic blessing given to Japheth, that his descendants would be enlarged, multiplied, and become great among the peoples of the earth. It is worth noting that the most populous nation in the world today is China. Another figure mentioned in the Holy Scriptures is Sin, also known as Sani or Sinem. Interestingly, his name resembles several ancient terms and even connects linguistically to the very name China. In Hebrew, Sin is pronounced Sin, and it carries meanings such as clay, peak, or mud. Some scholars also suggest it can mean moon. Sin, the son of Canaan, was one of Canaan's 11 sons. Canaan, in turn, was the son of Ham, and Ham was the son of Noah. Therefore, Sin was one of Noah's grandsons. He is mentioned indirectly in Scripture through his descendants, known as the Sinites or Sinites. Another fascinating detail about Sin, the grandson of Ham, is that, as in Greek mythology with Japheth, fragments of his story may have entered Mesopotamian mythology over time. In those traditions, Sin was deified and became known as the god of laws. An ancient hymn from UR describes him as the one who established law and justice, becoming the lawgiver of heaven and earth. An intriguing connection arises from this. Some of Sin's descendants are said to have migrated to southern Arabia and settled in a region later called Sinai. Because of Sin's reputation as a lawgiver, the region's name may have come to be associated with the giving of laws. This leads to the possibility that God's choice of Mount Sinai, as the place where he gave the 10 Commandments, may symbolically echo this earlier tradition. It is also believed that the Sinites, or people of Sin, that is, the ancestors of the Chinese, originated in a coastal city north of Phoenicia called Shem. The Sinites were not among the Canaanite tribes listed in the book of Joshua that were commanded to be destroyed. This may be because the term Sin referred to early Proto-Chinese settlements in the Far East, the lands of Sinir, or Shinar. According to ancient Jewish traditions, as mentioned in the Book of Jubilees, the curse placed upon Canaan did not extend to all his sons. It is believed that Sin was the one son spared from the curse, becoming the ancestor of the early Proto-Chinese people. This was likely because the Sinites or Sinians did not dwell in the land of Canaan, which was not assigned to them. Soon, I'll bring more videos exploring the origins of different nations. Stay connected to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes about the descent of Noah's children, as recorded in Genesis chapter 10. And don't forget, leave a comment suggesting which people you'd like to see represented in upcoming videos. See you soon.